Terrific. So I have with me here now in the PHAP booth Murat Daoudov, who's president of the Middle East Development Network and also a lecturer at Marmara University. And perhaps you wouldn't mind introducing also your colleague who's joined you.
Yes, and I have with me Elif Shamtul, who is my assistant. She's also director of administrative affairs in our Middle East Development Network. She's a master student also at Marmara University.
Excellent. So very happy that you managed to find the PHAP stand here, and that we have an opportunity to ask you informally what brought you to the summit. How have you been involved? I know you've been actually involved in some of the events taking place here. Is that right?
Yes. First of all, it's my pleasure to visit PHAP stand. I had the opportunity to catch up with you also in Brussels, if you remember,
yes.
And ADEX, second major international event where I joined, and I'm a recent member in this network. I was a moderator of one of the side events organized by the Turkish presidency. It was about integration of Syrian refugees into labor market, and we had a panel with the Director General of Labor of the Ministry of Ministry of Turkey, Director General of the Employment Organization, representatives of IOM, UNHCR, International Labour Organization, or the panel. Discussion was about how Turkish government dealt with giving the access to Syrian refugees to the labor market, and I was moderating the session. And in the second part of our session were the questions and answers, and my panel in general was very positive about the way things were. Of course, there's a lot of positive development in the way Turkish government has handled this issue. So I allowed myself to take rather opposition stance with my panel, and to discuss about the glass half empty, half full. There's regulation that allowed the Syrian refugees to request work permit since January this year, which is very much positive. The procedure is extremely simple, well organized. The only point is that the decision was so delayed. It took almost 5 years to take for the government, and that delay, as I mentioned, is of course the result of a lot of resistance in different parts of the society, or different institutional partners, that in the consultation process took so long time before the government was able to launch it, which brings us to the matter of how important is awareness raising and education work in the society. So we shall not leave the refugees on one side and all the actors that are rather resistant or hesitant to give access to the labor. Together we also need to have a range of different actors, whether NGOs, universities, consulting organizations, that would promote the public discourse, that would make it clear that refugees also have an added value to the society. And there's a lot of studies. One of them was mentioned by IOM. Another one I heard when I was in Brussels the day I met you, from the Germans, that there are a lot of studies that show that every dollar or every euro invested in refugees integration in the labor market returns to you as 2, 3, 5 euros in after a certain time as a benefit for the society. This is a discourse, a similar discourse that we also try to promote in Turkey, making a focus on the benefits, on the opportunities that the refugee movement also brings to our economy, and that there are also a whole sector of new sectors, new niche economies, that it is possible to develop in Turkey that did not exist previously. That's possible to develop in Turkey thanks to the presence of refugees from the Arab world. New economies that would be oriented to the Arab world market. And this is an added value that we need to develop and invest. Current legal framework is not sufficient, in my view, to really let's say unleash that potential, even though there are positive steps. So that this is something we try to discuss in our side events.
Excellent. And if I could ask, where do you see the conversation moving from here? We've heard several people mention that this is a very important event, but it can also be thought of for many of the issues discussed in these 2 days as a starting point for further discussion. Where is this issue headed next?
I think that, of course, first of all, it's very positive that there's a world, as far as I know, it's the first one by World Humanitarian Summit. The important point is that governments at the highest level are taking this issue seriously. Another major development that I see, and I saw it also in the stands of different publications, that there is a quest for a new approach, new ideas, how to do different in the humanitarian. So this kind of international forum gives the opportunity for us to discuss and to rediscuss. There are, of course, concerns, as we have heard, that some organizations boycotted or did not participate in the forum because they feel that governments are not sufficiently taking their responsibility on their shoulders. We need to recall that the primary responsibility is to governments to end conflicts, actually, or to not start conflicts or to end conflicts as much as possible. Civil society, humanitarian organizations will come next. They can improve their action. That's the primary responsibility of the states and the governments to avoid that way of humanitarian situations. Then on the humanitarian sectors, of course, there's a lot of discussion on how to improve. There are issues, various issues, etc. How to better use the new modern technologies to improve, let's say, the quality of the services. How to involve maybe other stakeholders, and how to involve the main targets, the refugees or the IDPs also in the governance of this humanitarian action.
Absolutely. So, what's next for you here? Then is your main work is done today, and tomorrow you can relax a bit, or what's on your agenda for tomorrow?
Of course, I live in Istanbul. That's why I cannot disconnect from there. I don't have the luxury of disconnecting the end. We will be attending some other sessions. For me, most important was actually this area where there stands. Is the opportunity to see, to meet different organizations and actually to see what different types of work. We collected very interesting publications about that actually push the thinking, the debate about humanitarian action, not just regular reports we have done. Very interesting things about what should be done and how should it be done. So for me, the benefit is this interaction and networking.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much
for
joining us here. Great to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you for PHAP for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.